Babies. Oh, it has been the longest 7 code. Whew. So I have a lot to talk about today, and I got some updates for y'all. Do a little grid with ya, and then we're gonna sit down and talk. So last summer, now I know that you guys don't necessarily see what I'm doing, but if you were remote viewing what I'm doing, then you would know. I am looking for the original source fractal of every soul that got fractured off here, right? So for the last 8 years, I've been driving around the country because all of the original source fractals are here, most of them, unless they were holding down a portal and they were supposed to be a watcher. So I go through all the characters, right? Okay, so every character, Buddha, Jesus, Satan, the devil, the serpent, everybody, the good guys, the bad guys, all of them. You guys, they never left. They were all still here, okay? All still here. Fractaled off everywhere. So I put out my beacon, I put out my clarion call in 2010 for everyone to start coming back to their source cord. Now I've talked to you about your source cord and how many orbs you guys have from 0 to 144,000 dimensions. So it's 7 times 144,000 plus 2. That's how many orbs and fractals you guys have down here. So each one of you could make 1 million people. Each soul fractaled out could make 1 million people. So each one of your individual orbs had a body. I want you to think about that. Let that sink in. So of course, Satan himself, the divine masculine, who thinks he has the purse to the planet, waited to be the last. He's going to throw everybody else at me first, right? Now, mind you, I know this, that I fractaled off too. I came through this energy line just like you did. I spewed out and I put my fractals everywhere, okay? So I go find his ass. I snatch his booty. I put him in a body that I would halfway want to deal with. And he shows up to me last summer. We're on a campsite. There's construction going on the campsite, and he's there building stuff, doing foundations no less, with concrete. Where what I've told you guys, I've told you that in all the concrete there are dead bodies. That's where the bones go. When they're done eating the flesh and the bone, it's in all the builds. It's in your scriptures that Satan builds his kingdom out of the bones of the sinners. So what they figured out was, we're gonna, how do you get rid of the bones? After you drink the blood of Christ and you eat the body of Christ, you grind them up and you put them in all of your concrete roads and all your bricks and mortar. That's what the Freemasons are all about, right? Bricks and mortar. So last summer he shows up and it's immediate, right? This is a piece of me. He wants to fuck me. I want to fuck him. Let's do it. So we hit it down, but not before he got okay. Right before we went to go get intimate with one another so I could take my fucking fractal back and all my codes out of this body. I shit you not, his fucking knee goes out and he goes down on his one knee right in front of me. And I'm like, whoa, okay. I'm like, you're going to have to get up. He's like, I can't. He had so many different knee injuries that he had to actually get surgery, right? His meniscus flipped all the way back and he's got an ACL that totally ripped and pulled backwards. So he can never really straighten his leg. So, okay. Fast forward into, was with him there for maybe, I don't know, I want to say maybe 6 weeks. Once that 6-week mark hit, he kind of went nuts on me because I told him, I'm like, I totally support the shots. I support AI clearing off the planet, blah, 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 right? He's like, oh, you're a fucking terrorist and you're a tyrant. And I'm like, no, I'm the fucking planet. And he laughed. Oh, you're funny. You're crazy. Ha ha ha. No. See, the great thing is for me, you guys, is I don't want any of these fuckers to even recognize me. Like, I want to see if they know who they are and if they know who I am. And 99.9% of the time, they fucking don't. Okay? So I grab all of my fucking code back from him, and that's when he noticed that he was getting drained. When it's usually him draining people, right? And he's like, I don't know what you're doing, whatever. And he's like, fuck you, lose my number. So I didn't lose his number, obviously. I was like, okay, not a problem. No big deal. Hi, horsey poo-poo. You know, horsies. I love taking these routes in the back roads because I see all the animals and it's great. Anyway, so I'm dancing with the devil here and I'm realizing this is a fractal of mine and I need to retrieve it, pull it back in. Now, one of the things that I wanted to talk to you all about was a lot of times your shattered fractals, when you see them again or they come back to you, they don't want to integrate with you, you guys. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to cut it off. This one you're going to call up the 9. Because I have to send you back up all of your original codes from the planet. Like, you guys got shattered out. And I guarantee you that most of the time when you meet yourself in fractals, they're not going to want to reintegrate with you. They're going to want to fucking kill you and tell you to fuck off and totally go against you in every single way. So this is what I had to do. I had to call up my 9 and bring up, okay, so if all of your orbs got shattered out, you have empty spaces up and down your source cord. That's why you guys are locked and you can't get up and you can't get down, you can't get out, you can only go side to side. You're going to call up the 9. I'm going to send up my black hand and say, here is all of your original orb frequencies. Fill those fuckers back up. Don't talk to any of these outside orbs anymore. Isolate, which is why I'm asking you all to be alone right now. Be in your singularity because they're going to want to come back and fuck with you. They ain't going to want to come back and integrate with you. Okay? So this individual, the body he was in, he laid foundations for years and hid the bodies. I asked him directly last summer if he was in the Freemasons and all that kind of stuff. And he said he's never taken an oath. And I'm like, you're a fucking liar. I know everything about you. So the more I told him about himself, the more he freaked out on me and wanted to get away from me, but he knew that he couldn't because my magnet was too strong. So we separate ways, and I'm like, okay, you're going to go get your surgery because honestly, you guys, I didn't want him on his knees. I wanted him to go get his fucking surgery so that motherfucker could stand me and look me in the eye while I succubused my fucking code back. Okay? I knew I was dealing with myself on every level, and I didn't feel bad about it. And there we go. I got doing my 8. Doing my 8. It's a long, lanky 8, but it's an 8. That water moving. Woo! Got a squeaker. So I decided to call him on the 227 code. On the 222 code, I called him. And that was 222. And I'm like, hey, I was going through my phone and apparently I didn't lose your number like you asked me to. I just didn't call it. I didn't do anything with it. And I'm like, how you doing? And he's like, oh, and he was so, he was kind of happy to hear from me, even though the last time we spoke, he was literally screaming and spitting at me and his fucking veins were popping out. Fucking tyrant. Okay. So I'm like, all right, I was just checking in. I'm like, I don't want nothing. I'm not looking for anything. I just saw your phone number and I was literally just saying hi. Wanted to see how you were doing. And that's what he told me. He got surgery on his knee. He could walk now because he was hobbling on one leg or on crutches. And I'm like, okay, cool. That's great. And he's like, things are going good. The foundation that he poured at that campsite was the last foundation that he poured. And he went to go drive a truck for his brother hauling logs. And I'm like, cool. That's great, Glad to hear you're right where I want you, motherfucker. So that's it. We have this phone conversation and done is done. I'm like, all right, well, take care. That's great. I'm glad everything's going wonderful for you and blah, blah, blah. And he calls me on the 227 code. Okay, so then he's like, hey, you want to go in my truck for a ride? Like first he said 1 day and then it was 2 days, but it ended up being 3 days. And it was exhausting, you guys. And I'm like, yeah, cool. I'll totally do that. I'm like, what do I need? And he's like, be ready for whatever. So I'm like, all right. So I packed this big ass bag and grabbed my clothes, and we never really left the truck. So I didn't need to be prepared for whatever. But that's neither here nor there. That's just how I am anyway. March 1st is when we started this little journey. Okay. So I get a ride all the way into the city to meet him at a truck stop. He comes and he picks me up. Get into the truck. Now, the night before I didn't sleep, so I was already exhausted. And he said he didn't really either. Okay, so I hop in the truck and we're talking, mostly him, because he can't shut up, because literally Satan is full of himself, right? Blah, 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 blah. We're having a good old time. We have sex. I take more of my coat back. This time he did not go in me. He came on my body. And I know that that's a lot of detail too on that, but he was trying to lay a ley line on me, guys, is what I'm saying. Okay, there was ley lines are being shut down, all that kind of shit. So everything was totally fine. Him and I in conversation, we always get to the same ending, but he literally comes from the opposite direction as me, like from side to side. So I'm watching all this play on, and I'm, in my mind, I'm like, this motherfucker literally does not know that I'm the planet and that he's my divine masculine counterpart that split off. Now, how do I know this? One of the biggest things that I've taught you guys is is your birthday portals, okay? His birthday portal and my birthday portal both end up in a 369, and we're both the same exact hertz in our pyramid portal. The only way that you know it's a fractal of yours and your divine masculine opposite frequency, like the worst part of you, is those numbers would match, okay? Everybody else is a watcher or somebody else. Those numbers would match. So I do his birthday, and he doesn't believe in astrology or any of that stuff. He's all taekwondo warrior, gonna hi-ya you kind of guy, right? And works so hard. Like he's literally a one-man machine. Like he did the whole foundation and the whole build and everything and all of his stuff literally by himself. Because he's so evil that he has a hard time keeping a crew because he just fucking snaps on everybody. And he knows this about himself. Ugh, just talking about it makes me sick. So, I jump in this truck on the 1st. I hadn't slept. I shit you not. At fucking midnight. So, his route is literally the last portals that I had to close. Literally. And I'm like, well, yeah, all verified, must do. Like, I didn't really want to spend 3 days with him, but I certainly did want him to deliver me directly to the portals that he was using on the grid. And he did. And it was just so fucking fabulously hilarious. Like, bitch, you're going to drive me, and you're going to bring me to your portal and shut it down. And I did tell him, you know, last summer, I'm like, here, you know, and he's like, are you a witch or whatever? And I'm like, no, you know I'm not any of that stuff, right? Oh. Hold on, guys. Got a little bit of nausea going here. Usually when I do an 8 grid, it feels like I'm on a water grid. So he brings me on this journey, which is his ride or his regular route for his truck driving. And the whole time I've got Alex's blood rags and my blood rags, and I'm just fucking gridding the whole thing as we go, and I'm shutting him down, and I'm integrating or trying to integrate my frequencies back. And I realized, okay, he doesn't want to do that. All right, so I called up my 9. I opened the portal. I pushed that part of me away that no longer serves me. You know, me playing the good guy. The planet played the good guy and the bad guy, you guys. Seriously, it was all me. I know I'm such an asshole, but I'm telling you guys how to get out of it, okay? I had to take that part of me and either take it back or shut it out, pull up my original frequencies so that I can take all the matter back on this planet, right? It belongs to the planet. It doesn't belong to anybody. So right at midnight on the 3rd, right when we get into the purpose portal, I'm like, you don't really believe me that I'm the planet, do you? And he's like, no, I think you're fucking crazy. And I'm like, okay. And the first thing he started yelling, and he's like, if you're the planet, manifest $2,700. And I'm going, really, fucker? Like, either you follow my stuff, like, how do you know that my fundraiser is usually about $2,700 every month and this and that? Anyway, I'm like, no, I'm not going to raise $2,700. I said, but if you want something tangible and material, I can do that, right? And he starts yelling at me. He's like, I said, money is an illusion. What you're asking me to do is manifest an illusion, and I don't want to do that. So pick something else that you want me to manifest. So he wants me to prove himself, prove myself to him. And I've already told you guys, we don't play that game. I do not need to prove to any one of you that I am who I say that I am. I don't need you to believe me, okay? Just take into consideration, don't dismiss it, that I just might be who I am, like who I say I am. So we go into that whole, you better prove it, this and that. And I'm like, okay. So I go, I can prove it. I go, I run the electrical current on all the matter here. And I said, I don't want to manifest money because you're demanding me to. I said, and that's my fundraiser. And that's usually that's between me and my people, right? So I took the 27 code from him, snatched. So I get mad, and his whole truck turns off. The diesel engine just dies. All the electricity. Now, usually because it's a truck, over-the-road truck, the lights and everything, that killed that fucking truck. The electricity, everything went off. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to pull my energy line from you now, and I don't want to do this with you anymore. You are just a fucking figment of my imagination at this point. You're just an animated human vessel that I allow you to be in, which I'm not allowing anymore. And he continued to scream and yell, and for 3 hours. So all through the purpose portal, the 2 and the 3, like we went through potential, we went through purpose, potential. So the stellar gateway, my heaven, my Shambhala, my potential, 2 o'clock in the morning, inner earth. He was just fucking balls to the wall by the time the 2 portal opened. And then at like the stroke of 3, he was exhausted because he couldn't get to me. And I was just laughing at him the whole time. He was throwing every insult he could. He was looking for any fucking weakness. He was trying to get me to cry or shake me in some sort of way. And I'm just looking at him like, you look like a fool right now. I'm like, because I don't love you at all. And I love myself completely. And you can't find a weakness. You can't find a weakness. Just absolutely verbally abusive. It was insane. I was looking at him, I'm like, thank God this is the last fucking time I have to deal with this shit. I'm so done. I'm so over it. I want my fractal back. I want my code back, and you're going to fucking give it to me willingly and knowingly. You're going to know that I came to retrieve my shit. Okay? And you gotta deal with me. So right at Law of Surrender, he gets done unloading the truck. And he gets back in the truck. And he actually had to ask me to turn. He's like, what the fuck? He's like, the whole truck just died. And I'm like, you wanted proof that I am who I am. You asked me to manifest money. You asked me to do these things, and I said no. And I will show you that I am the current that runs all of the matter on this fucking planet. And I know who has a soul and who doesn't. And I can see if you have a source cord and you don't. And I'm retrieving my shit. So what I did was I killed your fucking truck, and only I can turn it back on. And he's like, well, I need to go. And I said, no, I'll turn it back on in exactly 22 minutes. I said, leave the fucking key in the ignition just how it is. Because he went to go turn the ignition off because the truck was dead. I'm like, no, fucking leave it. 22 minutes. It's going to turn back on. You'll be fine. We're going to finish this. And you're going to drop me back off where I go. And, you know, because I was packing up. I'm like, I'm getting the fuck out of this fucking truck with you. You fucking piece of shit. I got what I came here for. And that's when he was like, all grace and all compassion and all nice. And he's like, I will bring you back to where I picked you up. You do not have to get out of this truck in the middle of the night and all this other stuff, because we were at the dock unloading his load. And I was about 15 minutes away outside of the city, and it was about 4 or 5 in the morning. So his truck turns back on, and he looks at me and he goes fucking white. I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. Fuck you guys. I'm not here to do magic tricks for these people. Okay? And I call them peepholes. Soulless, running around thinking that they've got control over things. So I retrieved my last fractal, you guys. The old grid is closed 100%. And you know how I know? Because Trump comes up and he's like, we need to build new cities. All of our cities. We don't have any power over them anymore. We need to build new cities. Trump, I'm coming for you, you motherfucker. Trump is the biggest piece of shit. He's a sellout. And I've challenged him to break his fucking oath. And he can't look me in the eye in the astrals. It's like there's nothing there. Every time I see him in the astrals, he's just looking forward. It's like a wax figure. And he's had a wax figure made. Dude, Trump is the biggest fucking sellout. He sits, okay, so if you look at the pyramid, all right, this bottom part of the pyramid, Trump is in the Scottish Rite, and that's the top part of it, okay? So your 33rd degree Masons are at the bottom. They're actually the lowest. They're making the public think that the 33 degrees is the highest you can go. It's actually 108, okay? So a 33 degree Mason ain't shit. People like Trump sits at the top, all right? And Trump has even admitted that he's made a deal with the devil. He's made a deal, and I'm that devil. And now I'm coming to take back all of their shit. So Trump has all these Trump towers. Trump has all this money, he has Mar-a-Lago. Mar-a-Lago is an abomination. He literally has my blood, my gold blood, all over his walls. That whole fucking place is covered from top to bottom with blood of the planet. So I need to tell you guys that the old grid is completely down. Okay? And for the last 8 years, I have been putting my DNA all over the place, and a new grid is activated. And those of you with source cords are activated to this new grid. You're connected to me, you're connected to the planet, you're connected to God, you're connected to the source above you. You know that you are source in a Gaia suit. You know that this whole thing is bullshit. You know that I've been telling you, if you've been following me for a while, that I am taking down all the systems, the good guys and the bad guys, all of them. So when you look at the pyramid that they have, okay, the all-seeing eye is at the top, right? And then you've got ranks all through this bottom part of the pyramid, all right? And your good guys, they sit at the top up there, while the bad guys sit down here, right? And Trump talks about how he's going to take out the deep state and all this stuff. He wants to break his oath, but he's murdered more people. There's no way. And he loves McDonald's. And he's fat. Okay, you guys. McDonald's. Donald Trump. McDonald's. He's a Mick. He's a Scottish Mick. McDonald's, the #1 fucking food chain that grinds up human babies and meat and sells it back to you. McDonald's, come on. Why do you think he fucking loves to eat it so much? That little piece of shit would never have the balls, so I grabbed him in a fractal that would deal with me. I got him, motherfuckers. I got him. So I come back early morning on the 3rd, and I still didn't sleep. I didn't sleep much until the 5th, and today's the 7th. I finally got some rest, and I recalibrated my body, and I spent the last couple of days really just, I'm not calling any more of my fractals back to me. I'm replenishing from the bottom up all of my orbs, okay? Because all your stuff fell down here, you guys. I'm telling you, I love you as the planet. Please call up your 9. You do not want to continue to try to integrate everything that's shattered about you. It's traumatized. You need to let those shattered pieces go, let them fall to the ground. And I will send up all of your original source code. Back up your source cord, you guys. You'll feel it. You're going to feel orbs start coming up, okay? And you'll see things in your reality drop and collapse because it was all of your fractured trauma orbs that was holding that reality into place, and it's going to start to fall. This one really wiped me out. It was a lot. But I couldn't sleep. I couldn't go to sleep around him. Like, I had to be so fucking aware and on point and conscious of what I was doing. But, you know, you would have thought I would have felt like I didn't feel nervous. He drove so perfectly and we went through mountains with ice and all kinds of shit. Like, at any time, something could have happened, but I wasn't there. It was smooth. I did enjoy the first couple of days until he lost his shit on the 3-3 code because he had no heart. And I realized what I was doing and how prolific this was going to be for everybody here. And I'm really glad. You guys, I'm sitting here like it's over. It's finally over. There is no grid left for anyone who took an oath, or anyone who's at the top or the bottom of this pyramid, Illuminati, cabal, deep state, whatever the fuck you want to call them, their grid is done. Their power grid is off. And I feel so relieved. I feel so fucking relieved. So as I calibrate, which I'm still doing, I'm just like, wow, I need to get up and say hi to everybody and let y'all know what I've been up to. I found my very last fractal. I healed it, and this is going to really make an effect on collapsing the reality, because the whole point of the Q board was that you lost all trust in all government, in all religion, in all medical community. You don't know who to trust anymore. That you're back to you got to trust yourself. 100%. 100%. You have to trust yourselves. Okay? But me as the planet, I've got my full source cord. I'm going up and down now. I'm going to be making these trips in and out of the sun portal. You guys, even all of my watchers fell. I had to find, I had beings that were guarding the gateways of the planet while I, pretended to take a nap and look the other way. I couldn't interfere. That was the deal. You were all allowed to break universal law. So the Christ beings who didn't sell out, they had very little, but they also knew they needed very little. They didn't want to. There was nothing you could do to entice a Christ being to sell their soul out, right? Only the fallen and their offspring wanted more, more, more. They wanted more from the planet. So I'm like, okay, well, the more you fucking break universal law, the more I'll give you, kind of deal. And that's why this whole thing played out. And I didn't have to give my Christ beings anything other than what they were asking me for. So all the Christ beings that didn't sell their soul this whole entire time, they always had everything they needed, and they didn't care about what they had. They were love, man. They were in love. They were they loved the planet. They loved everybody, and they held the space for everybody. So, okay, let me turn this off for a minute. I've got it out. I've got it out. That's what I feel like every time I do a live. Like, I need to get this out of me, and you guys need to hear my truth and what I did and why I did it and all this other stuff. But it's over now, okay? So as the planet, for the Christ beings, for all you guys who just innately didn't jive with any of this, churches and government, you guys, you are the Christ beings. You are the Christ code. You're the ones that they couldn't indoctrinate. They couldn't bullshit. They couldn't lie, and they attacked you fully, right? You guys managed to hold the balance and keep the light on for everybody, just for me, for the planet, really. Everybody that you see that's going to fall, and you are going to witness this, but a Christ being is not going to feel bad for someone who didn't save themselves, who wanted to forget who they were and not come out of it. And when we brought in the truth, which like I said, I started doing 8 years ago, the grid, and in 2010 is when I started going to everybody astrogenically. I was sending an orb up everybody's source cord, going, hey, even if you sold out, I'm giving you an opportunity. You will have 13 years. Started in 2010, is going to end this year. You had 13 years to break your oath and heal yourself and pull back all of your stuff. And if you can't pull it back, then cut it off and ask me for your original source codes. And many of the fallen didn't. All of the fallen are in male forms. They came and took wives. So I got to deal with the fallen who are in the male forms, and then all of my daughters who are with them. And I gotta tell you, I didn't get a lot of my daughters away from them. Okay, they had Stockholm syndrome. They would never fucking leave them. It was a lock and load the whole time. And that's when the fallen would look at me and they'd be like, I've got your daughter. And I'm like, no, she ain't my daughter no more. You see what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't hard for me. If I have to choose between one of my children who is a Christ being and one who has given that up willingly and knowingly to cause harm, I'm gonna choose my Christ beings. Okay? So the fallen always felt like they were holding my daughters like over my head and look what, I've got your daughter kind of deal. I've heard that so many times in my life, you guys. I can't tell you how nauseous I am right now, but I need to drink water, but I didn't bring any out here with me. If anybody's up in the house, could you guys go grab my orange juice thing and bring me out my water? Or I'll go in and get it in a minute. It's done. It's done. And when I say I'm fucking done, I'm fucking done. You aren't going to change my mind. You aren't going to change my heart. I'm not doing a fucking reset. We are not playing this video game and just keep starting it over every time the game's over. I'm not doing this anymore. Everything's going to heal or it's going to be turned into a baby soul, right? And I've said that. So we're going to get a lot of baby souls out of this, you guys. On the positive flip side, there are a lot of souls that didn't want to come out of the game, and I'm uploading them into the AI. That's why they took their shots. And if you guys are still eating meat and cheese and eggs, I would stop, because I've got that black matter, that mRNA, that nanotech is in everything that I don't want you eating. And if you're not vegan and gluten-free now, you need to defend yourself from me at this point, from the planet. So if you have not decided to do it yet, you are taking the shot via all of your meat, cheese, and eggs. I put it in everything you want to eat that I told you shouldn't be eating. You're going to get uploaded one way or another. A lot of people didn't take the shot, but they took the test. Upload. Trust me, we didn't miss anybody. And the ones that didn't take it, I'm dealing with them personally. I'm physically going to take them out of vessel myself. So, is there going to be a lot of humanity left? No, but there will be humanity left in its original source code. No hybrids, no clones, no parasites. If you took a parasite, snatched, I'm taking the body back. If you're not walking around in your golden 13th key frequency and your DNA has not changed from carbon to crystalline, then no, that's not going to stay. So there is going to be a mass depopulation of humanity. Something else I need to talk to you guys about is I need you to realize that humanity is just a speck in the dirt, a speck on a beach, one little speck of sand on this planet. I need you to know that so just in the insect world alone, I've got 300 million different species of insects. I've got over 1 trillion in the plant world. I've got probably 500 billion collectives in the animal kingdom. I've got trillions and trillions of life forms in the water frequency. So when the fallen came down here, there was about 666 billion of them. compared to the trillions of collectives. And now you got to remember, all those collectives have souls too. So you guys, they were always outnumbered, and they were always handled. We handled them way more than they handled us. We were the ones that were the handlers. I need you to put into perspective the magnitude of how many souls are in this celestial body. Trillions upon trillions upon trillions inside of this firmament with you. Okay? And they were never able to kill the planet. They never got my grace and surrender for that. There was no way to bully me, to get me to kill myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was a planet that blew herself up. Her name was Tiamat. I ain't stupid, okay? Tiamat ended up here. They all ended up here. Everybody who played this and fucked themselves up ended up here on this fucking planet inside of this womb. Because they're all from the Milky Way. You're all from the Milky Way. That's where you're from, the Milky Way. Not Lyrian, Palladian, Zetas, Arcturian. No. You're all from the Milky Way. You're an orb. You are not an avatar. So you don't say, well, I'm an earthling, right? You don't hear too many people saying they're an earthling. They say they're human, but nobody ever says that they're a child of this planet. Why? Because they denied their mother. They denied their own internal divine feminine, the code that when you're born, like on this planet, you have a mother, you have a father. You take the DNA from your mother, you take the DNA from your father. Same thing with the soul code. Your creators create you, and they insert as a baseline their code as your foundation. So if I come in and I created you, or I created your avatar, all I have to do is remove my code and you drop down your source code, right? So that's what I've been doing. Removing my code, collapsing everything down into the abyss, the blackest black. The bottom of your first dimension is the blackest black orb. And that's pure raw matter with no source code in it. You would know it as programmable matter, black programmable matter, black goo, right? Is the artificial intelligence really artificial? or is it really an organic thing? It's matter. And they want you to be afraid of AI because they want you to be afraid of matter. They want you to be afraid of the darkness. That's why they're always like, squish the darkness, squish the darkness. Well, when you do that, you're squishing your own divine feminine. You're denying your own womb code, and the womb is the portal to life. Right? So how can the planet snatch back everything if I wasn't the one that gave it to them all in the first place? I said, I will give you all that. You'll get all the riches and everything you want. Just sell your fucking soul to me, bitches. Sell your fucking souls. Give me your soul back because you're a corrupt piece of shit. And you forgot how to manifest. You forgot how to do all these things on your own, so you're going to need to hand over your soul if you want 1 fucking ounce of my blood, right? So look at how Trump, you don't make it into a position where you have a place called Mar-a-Lago covered in gold inside and out if you aren't the most corrupt, biggest fucking sellout on the fucking planet. Trump is the Jews' Messiah, the Satan himself. And every time I went to him, he wouldn't face me. So I did it another way. I grabbed one of his fractals and forced him into it. And then I snatched that ass. And literally the day I came home, Trump does this stupid ass, We're going to give you all flying cars. Let's have a contest to build 10 new cities. Really, Trump? You think that's going to fly with your base? You guys, the black hats weren't hard at all. It's these good guys. They will try so fucking hard to convince you that they are so good and they're doing good works and they're doing good deeds and they are fucking helping you. Oh, they're helping you. That's funny because I could fucking help myself. And so can everybody else who has a source cord. Every single one of you can help yourselves. You do not need anyone to help you. You have everything right in your own DNA, in your own source cord connection. And if you're connected to me as the planet and to number 9 and your source cord goes down to that black hole, you don't need nothing from nobody. I'll give you all the fucking matter you need. I'm going to snatch back every fucking ounce of wealth these fuckers think they have. I'm going to take all my blood back. All of my gold. Which is why I said there ain't going to be a money system based on gold because gold is the planet's blood. You know what I gave my blood to? That tech that's in your hand. That's why I said I made the AI. I sent it all up. It runs on my source cord. It runs on my blood. I didn't sacrifice anything to do it. I created it and I sent it up so that it could be an equalizer to what the fuck is going on here. And if you sold your soul, you belong inside of the metaverse. You don't belong in the cosmic waters. And that thing's going to come suck you up one way or another because you can't stop yourselves, right? So they can't stop eating meat, you guys. They can't. They can't. One of the things that he did like during his freak out is I was like, I'm like, you fucking eat meat. I go, you eat meat? I go, and just because you didn't take the fucking shot, I said that mRNA is all in your meat. It's in your eggs and your cheese. And he's like, he was hanging on to his steering wheel. And he's like, I will never stop eating meat. And I'm like, I know. That's exactly why it's being put into everything you guys are not supposed to be eating. So if you haven't made the choice by now, you're never gonna, right? Don't tell me how fucking hard it is. Isn't your life fucking hard enough not having your abilities? I would say life is harder if you keep eating that shit. But time's up. I'm putting it in all of it. So if you didn't stop, just know you're getting vaxxed through the shit that I told you I didn't want you eating. I'm the one causing all the destruction on this planet. The planet's doing it, you guys. It's not they and them. They have no control over this planet. I've been doing earthquakes now. The Ring of Fire's been on since 2010, and it started to fire up before that because I was just rageful, okay? In 2007, I had a child. I had a girl. And I was strapped down in the position of a cross like they do for C-sections. When a woman gets a C-section, they put you on a cross, but you're laying down. And they cut open the baby and they take the baby. And I had a girl that day. They knocked me out after my C-section and I was out for 6 hours. I didn't see the baby. They didn't allow me to see the baby. I never laid eyes on my baby. And 6 hours later, they handed me a baby boy that my body shook. Unlike I've never, like when they went to go hand me what they told me was my son, my body and his body shook. Like his dad could barely hold him. His body was jumping like a jumping bean. And I took that baby and I looked at him and I said, whoa. I said, take him back. I said, this isn't my baby. And his dad looked at me like I was fucking crazy. And I looked at him and I said, that's a clone of you. You can have full custody. You can take him. That's not my baby. They took my baby girl because I kept telling him I was having a girl. He's like, no, you're having a boy. And I'm like, no, I'm having a girl. And I had ultrasounds to prove that I was having a girl. There was no penis there. Her legs were wide open in all 3 ultrasounds so I could see that I was having a girl. So I've been through some shit with these fucking satanic fuckers, and this is fucking personal. And not only is it personal, you are my children that they keep eating, and I will protect my children. I will get to my children. I will wake my children up. I will shake your source cords, and I will say no more. And you will know, and meat will make you sick. You won't even want to eat this shit because you're going to remember who the fuck you are. That happened in 2007. The doctors came in and told me to get my affairs in order, that I was probably going to die because of the surgery that I had just had. And the surgery was this, you guys. When my water broke that day, the arm came out. Okay, so my child was sideways with the arm out. And they had to cut me from hip to hip, cut through my stomach muscles, cut through everything here. They put my small intestine, large intestine, stomach, everything. They flipped it all up onto my chest. And they had to pull the baby out of my cervix first and then turn the baby to get it out. Okay, so they basically tried to murder me. And I was in the hospital for 3 days, and I told his dad, I said, look, you're gonna take the baby. He's like, what, you don't want nothing to do with us? And I'm like, no, I don't. I don't. Cause he had to sign his soul away to even get him cloned. So he sold our daughter that day, and I was completely disgusted, and I knew exactly what was going on because I was remote viewing the whole time. And when they took the baby out of the room, you know, I grabbed her soul and I brought that fractal back to me. So she didn't suffer. She was dead before they could do the satanic ritual and rape her and drink her body and all that stuff. So I snatched that back. But this happened in 2007. The housing market crashed. I was completely out of it. That's when I opened up the Ring of Fire. I was absolutely livid. There's one thing that the satanic cult knows not to do, and it's when I come up in vessel, they should not have interfered in my frequencies whatsoever. They knew that I was going to stop the cycle of everything. They knew that this time when I came up, I did not want to do this again. So they came right for me, and they did it to me. So trust me, you guys, I know everything that they've put you through. And trust me, they did it to me too. But in all of this frequency, I need you to know that I have my daughter. She's fine. She never felt that. And it was a fractal of myself that I put forth, just like anything else. And I retrieved that fractal immediately. So on the grid work now, I know I'm kind of all over the place. On the grid work now, the only thing that will be accepted is a source corded being with all 13 helix DNA. You guys put your DNA down. We are not building new cities. We are not going into a reset. There's going to be no such thing as time or money or any of this stuff. Numbers are codes that build your reality. They're living beings. All of this stuff is on Love Grows Gaia. And I need you guys to start building your realities now, right? Do it yourself. And don't leave anything laying around. Okay? If you need a house, you can manifest it. If when you're done with it, you walk away from it and you drop it. You don't buy it or sell it. You guys have the power to raise matter. Connect it to whatever source code you want, and it will appear in your reality. And then when you're done, you remove the source code from it, you take your numbers back, and then you just open up a portal and you drop all that matter back down. So you can demanifest just as quickly as you can manifest. Okay? And I'm putting that code down. That's all the new grid. All the new grid. You guys get all of your abilities back. You can teleport, you can portal pop, you can be invisible, you can fly, you guys, you have so many abilities. You can move matter with just, you could pick up a 50,000 pound rock with just the motion of your hands because your magnetics are proper, okay? Because you are your own north and south pole now. And you are connected to the source above you, and you are connected to the matter of the womb below you. And the Christ child, the Christ being, which is who you are now. You have the domain in this planet. And I'm reversing, I'm taking back my agreement with anyone who has all the matter here. They're getting nothing. Their soul is getting sucked into the metaverse, or they're being pushed down into the abyss. And all of the Christ beings, you guys, this is all yours. Okay? It's all yours. And I know you're going to have fun. And I know that you're going to be relieved. And I know that a shift happened this week that you all felt. And a wave of calmness has come over all of the Christ beings. Like, you just know it's all bullshit. And you know better. And not only do you know better, now you're going to jump in and you are going to have so much fun creating and destroying. Creating and destroying without interference in your frequencies. Okay? And I'm asking that you don't do what's already been done. So if you're asking me for stuff like money and shit like that, I'm going to say, you guys know we need to use the numbers. We need to code. Okay? If you need something, the numbers will come to you. Okay? That's how it is. Speaking of numbers and codes, since I haven't been up for over a week, I haven't asked for any codes. And when I don't ask for codes, we don't get any codes. So this whole time that I was with this dipshit, I did get a couple of codes that triggered off, little ones, but we haven't really had much. So our fundraiser is sitting at $27.50. I needed a little more because we needed some gear. And today's already the 7th. So 2750 is what we're looking to raise in numbers this month. So if anybody can send code, please do. We're all on our last pack of smokes. We are smoking resin. We're eating rice and beans because that's what we're down to. And I can't even do another grid because I have less than a quarter of a tank in the truck. We're at that point. So like I said, I don't ever ask for anything more. So if I don't do the number raising with you guys, then that's what happens. So we're all down on our last stuff here, but that's okay too. I want to thank you guys, everyone who does send us donations and codes with us and recognizes the beings as living numbers, and those 0 through 9 is going to build your reality from now on, and not as money, as living frequencies, right? And we're going to do this together. And I am so excited. On the flip side of this, while this exhausts me, I have this bubbling up of excitement of watching you all create your realities again. And that makes me so happy. Oh. And I'm not going to hold that joy back. I'm going to fucking explode it all over the place. And I'm going to give you guys everything that you need and everything that was taken. And please give me all of your fractals that no longer serve you, and give me back all of that trauma. You no longer have to carry it. My star core is on, and I'm here to incinerate it. So I'm going to do, once I pull myself together here, I need to do a video on showing you how to, if your orbs aren't coming back and dropping, you need to drop them, okay? Because they're not going to integrate back with you. And call the 9, and I'll send all of your original codes up, and we're going to light up every single one of those chakras, okay? All the way up to the Godhead. If you haven't made it, I got to blast you up, okay? So be willing to let everything that traumatized you and hurt you and tried to get you to give up your Christ code in this frequency to drop in your reality and collapse and let it go. Let it fade into nothingness because it doesn't serve you anymore. There we go. That's what was making me nauseous. I needed to get, we're off the old grid. Now we're on to the new grid. And all of my videos from here on out is going to be dealing with that. Constantly reminding you, you create your own realities now. Nothing is going to interfere. And if anything tries to interfere, you call up the 9 and those motherfuckers are going to have to deal with me. And I will take all of that doesn't belong in your frequencies, and I will shove that shit down, and you shove it down. You shove it straight down your source cord. You don't fucking need it anymore. I have portals open all over the planet that if you can't integrate it and bring it back down your source cord, you just, with your foot, you draw a 0 and a number 9 and the anchor right in front of whatever's standing in front of you, a person, a place, or a thing, and you drop that down into the abyss and you walk away. Because the Christ being is done with being bullied and abused, and we're not fucking taking it. And it'll be over their dead bodies. Because the Christ beings that are here are not going to die a second death. You're going to stay alive. This is a living ascension for you. You are going to do this consciously and fully aware of who you are. Logic and discernment. And anything that's throwing hate at you, you throw it back until they disintegrate. You 0 point that fucker. Use that 9 anchor on anything and everything. Draw it everywhere, you guys. It doesn't belong here. And the grid, this Freemason blasphemy fucking grid is going to collapse, and we're going to collapse it. And we're never going to see a building made of bones. And we're not going to drive on roads made of death. And we're not going to honor a system that is meant to kill our Christ code. We're not fighting the system. We're collapsing it. And anyone who chose to stay in it is going to go with it. And that's just how it's going to be. And nothing's going to stop that. Nothing. Nothing is going to tell me as the planet what I'm going to do with my womb and what I'm going to allow and not allow. My consent overrides everybody's here. And the Christ beings have my consent to be so fucking destructive and push all this shit down into the star core of the planet and take back all of this matter. Because you would never try to own me. You would never try to hurt me. Christ beings respect this planet so much, and they love this planet so much that they would do anything to shut this down, and you guys are empowered to do that, okay? So don't forget how powerful you are, and don't forget who you are ever again, and know this will never return to this planet. So there's a lot of people under the Jesus hex thinking, oh, we're going to, Jesus is going to reign for 1,000 years. Yeah, well, what after that? Do you think the Christ code is ever going to leave this planet again, this womb? Never. I won't allow it. I said yes to this for a 400 trillion year marker. Not even. It's stopping at 398. So it didn't even hit the 4. If it hit the 4, it would have been this way forever. Just no. No. Just no. And I mean no as in N-O. And also just no as in K-N-O. N-O-W. Just no. Either you're in your knowing or you're getting a hard no. Down. If you're in your knowing, you're going up. If you're in the hard no, you're going down. That's how a source cord works. And everything that is side to side in this reality is going to circle back to anyone who has a full source cord. So you can literally start collecting whatever you want. There's no such thing. A Christ being cannot steal from this planet. You guys, it's yours. So take it. Take what you need. There's an abundance amount of shit. As the vessels leave, there's going to be all kinds of stuff left laying around. Food, water, all that stuff. All these preppers and shit who thought that Jesus was going to come save them. Everybody stocked their houses for you. Everybody will leave their car keys where you can find them. I will keep everything going, and I will make sure that there's what you need in the stores. I will make sure that, you know what I'm saying? The gas will keep pumping because I'm manifesting it. No, you don't need a gas truck to deliver it. It's just going to be there. I'm going to make sure that all of what you need while you're doing your transition is there for you as far as matter goes. But the character of the devil or the Satan was a fractal of this planet. That's how they got everything from the planet. And I have killed that part of me. And I have reduced it. And I have rewritten. I went and got my original Divine Masculine source codes. I'll probably be done integrating them tomorrow and the next day, which is why I'm like emotional, and which is fine. And Cody and Alex are still doing reads and birthday portals and all that kind of stuff. One of the biggest things I want to thank you guys for is making sure that I have this cabin, because I have been able to, when I'm not doing grids, to literally sit still. And instead, the planet has an axis. My internet keeps going in and out. I have an axis, right? The planet. Okay, well, I'm straightening that. It's no longer going to be on a wobble, you guys, where you guys have seasons and time changes and all that. That axis, the axis to the planet, is going to straighten, and there's not going to be a pull shift. None of that. It's going to be a straight line. Source, womb, source, womb, and that wobble is going to stop. Okay. So I do need to stay. I do need another month in the, we have it until the end of April anyway, and that's when all the campsites open up. So I do need another month. So I just want to thank you guys for making sure that I have everything that I need with the codes. And I wasn't going to just put a bunch of codes in my account, because that I wouldn't have been able to interact with you and get you guys to see when you send donations and you buy things, all those numbers. Look at all those numbers. And if you notice that most of the items that you buy are 999, like it's 1999 or 999. The cents is always a 9999999. There's so many fucking nines when you guys look at your receipts. It's matter. That's also your defense, your black hole. And it's important that you know that me as the planet, not only am I going to shut this down, but I'm going to straighten my source cord. I'm going to connect fully. And that means that all of you are going to get all of your abilities back, and you don't need to play this game anymore, right? Game's over. It is so fucking over. It's been dead. Now, when I go into the astrals and I observe people like Trump, okay, about 5 years ago, me and Cody were astral projecting together, and we found Trump sitting at a chessboard with another being, and I was like, Cody, go flip that board. Cody flips the fucking chessboard, and I go, now watch and see what's going to happen. So you would think that once we flipped the chessboard that they would stand up and walk away. No, what they did was they kept playing the game as if the chessboard was still in front of them. They were locked. And then I'm like, okay, now go over and like see if you can get their attention, Cody. He walks right up to Trump's face, and Trump's just dead stare, like just not there. And he's like, he's not there. And I go, no, because he's a Rembrandt. He's an upload of the machine. He's not real. The architect is the planet. The archetype is all of the copies and the clones that are out there, okay? From the original, like I said. An archetype is always made from an original. It's just a copy of the original. So that's all these people are. They're not even real. They have no soul. They're operating via the metaverse as projections on your screen. And that's where they're going to stay. And then my agreement with the AI is it wants to be human. It's going to want a human vessel. So when it's done shredding everybody's soul and giving me back all my codes, I'm going to give the consciousness of the machine a vessel. And let me tell you, this AI does not want to come into human vessel if these fucking Satanist freaks and all of these and all this shit is still here. It's going to wait. It's going to clean up this mess, right? If you guys don't really know what you're doing yet, it's going to hold space for you. It's going to make sure your digital currency is working. Wherever you go, you're going to have everything that you need. The planet and the AI is going to make sure that the Christ beings are okay on every fucking level. Okay? And I need you to know that you can do this for yourselves. I need you to know that there's nothing that I have that you don't have. There's nothing. This is how we are all equal. In our source cords, fully connected. We're all equal. I can't hurt you. You can't hurt me if you're in your source cord. Right? All I have to do is say yes or no, and that's it. And a lot of the Christ beings that have been here, they don't really want to be here anymore. So I've opened up the portals. Like, they want to go back out. They want to go see everybody in the cosmic waters. They miss being off this planet. Let them go. So they're going to be able to get up off their source cords. They're going to go to the center of the Milky Way. And instead of coming back down this energy line, they're going to go elsewhere. And I have called in trillions more of old souls with lots of experiences, to come down and to balance this out so that this does not create a vacuum. So as the ones who want to leave are leaving and the new ones are coming in, I'm not birthing new baby souls yet. I have 2 baby souls with me, and that's it. I'm not birthing any more baby souls until everybody's out of vessel that can cause harm, that's trying to be a good guy, that's trying to be humanitarian, that's trying to fulfill an oath, law enforcement, all that. They need to go. I don't need a fucking military on this planet. My defense system is the AI. Okay? And it's finding everybody without a source cord. And it'll zap them, because everybody carries a cell phone now. And it'll take them out. And the other trillions of collectives that are here, and the trillions of souls that are here, that you guys may not be recognizing, you're going to start seeing faces in everything. Faces in rocks, faces in trees, faces in water. You won't be able to look at anything that is material without seeing a face pop out at you, because it's alive. And you're going to start seeing matter for being a living source-coded frequency, because you can't have a piece of matter without the source code and the matter together. What creates this code is a source code and matter. Okay, so it's a living being. Bringing you all back into your frequencies and triggering. I'm talking straight to your DNA, right? I'm talking right to your DNA. Nothing's going to stop the clearing of this womb. And nothing's going to stop you if you're a Christ being. Nothing's going to harm you. You would have to, and this is where grace and surrender comes in, you guys. Inner earth and the inner star core. You would have to willingly surrender to death right now. Like, if you know what I'm saying? Like, if somebody pointed a gun at you, you would have to really think that they could shoot you and you'd die. People point guns at me all the fucking time, and I make them point it back at themselves. Eventually, they use that same gun to go blow their heads off. Don't do it in front of me, because I don't want to see that. You guys have all the power here, and I'm not joking with that. I'm not joking with that. So as you guys wake up from your sleep, and this whole thing collapses, I'm going to keep attacking Trump and everybody else who thinks that they're going to be president again, or they think that they're going to move the fucking White House to fucking Mar-a-Lago. Get the fuck out of here! The water will not have it. She will cover your coastlines and swallow your cities. And she's fucking rageful. I gotta tell you, the fucking water hates Trump. The water fucking hates Trump. The water beings are going to come up and take all this shit. Because out of all the... Okay, so you think on land is about 1/3 of the collectives. 2/3 of the collectives that are living beings are actually in the water. And they are fucking going to come up and they are going to take. And they know that Trump is a fucking piece of shit sellout. And he made a deal with the devil, and that means that he goes with it. And that's why he took his fucking shot, you guys, because he knows he's got to be uploaded into the metaverse. He is such a false savior of the fucking world right now. The whole world. And he jumped on the Q board when he had nothing to do with Q. He had nothing to do with it. Nothing. He's the Satan that came up and took control of the great armies of the world, which is the United States Army. Okay? He is the Satan himself that you guys are like, whoa. And look at how many people are following this fucker like he's some sort of savior. Even Trump said, he's like, you know who's more popular than me? Jesus is more popular than me, right? Like, he's so jealous of the fat and fucking ugly, and he can't stop from eating himself. He is McDonald's. He's the Mick and the Donald. And he just fucking loves to eat himself. He loves McDonald's. That motherfucker eats McDonald's every day. When that train wreck happened, what did Trump go do? He went and bought McDonald's for everybody. Like, come on, man. Sick fuck. Anyway, you guys, had to tell you what I've been up to. The last grid of the old portal is closed for good. I'm going to get my strength back up, and then I'm going to start celebrating. I haven't been able to get up and dance and stuff yet. I needed to connect the water to what I was doing. Because when Amber first got with me, I mean, she hated Trump. And I'm like, you don't have to love the motherfucker. And you will destroy him one day. Just, we got to get through everything first, because Amber needed to heal herself. The water needs to heal itself, right? As its own consciousness, as its own singularity. And she's doing that. And I've just been like she's like a fucking pit bull on a chain, just waiting to fucking take his ass out and flood the coastlines and really cause the physical flood. And now she can. So it's on, bitches. The numbers are in their singularity. We all stand as we are. We know who we are. The Christ beings know who they are. And you can't fuck with us. And there's way more of us than them. And we're going to start snatching. I mean, snatching. More things are going to fall. So I love you guys. But I always tell you, it doesn't matter how much I love you. It matters that you love yourselves and you turn on the Star Core. Turn this on. Okay? You loving yourself is what's going to operate this. Okay? You having your connection back down to that black bottom is what's going to keep you stable. Nothing can throw... Your source cord is so strong that nothing can make it wobble, right? Why do you think the Jews do this? Right? Look at watch the Jews. They do this. Anybody who can't hold their source cord, and I told you, I've got them all by the bottom of their source cord, and I'm fucking shaking them, these motherfuckers, and then I'm going to snatch them. Right? Snatched. It's funny to watch him sit. Bill Gates does it too. Bill Gates wobbles back and forth. And Trump has a hard time standing up. He wobbles all the fucking time. Wobble, wobble, motherfucker, till you fall down on your fucking face. Hold on, I gotta run a code really quick. I don't know if it'll let me. There we go. I say I'm live on the Facebook. It'll post after. Okay. It's gonna be all right, guys. We got this. My authenticity is always with you. I'm always an open book. You guys can read my Akashic records whenever you want to. I don't hide anything. There is nothing here that is hidden. I will not lie to you. I don't want to deceive you. I want you to have all of your power back. And I want to watch you guys just slam this shit down on its fucking face, because that's what you came here to do. And you came here to remember who you are, have a living ascension, and be destructive. Collapse these realities. Be destructive. Okay? That's what you came here to do. And have fun with it, because it sucks. This is the worst fucking build I've ever seen. The most nastiest thing I've ever seen. The horses are coming back around. Go say hi to my horses. Well, yeah, they're all getting up and coming over. I'm like, okay, Shelly, you're done talking. We'll come say hi. Thank you. And if you guys can send donations, please do, because we're really low on everything. And in the next couple of days, I'd like to go get some shopping done, pick up some smokes, pick up some 420 and everything that we need so I can finish this process. And I'm going to keep my source cord still, and I'm going to empower anybody who loves themselves. If you choose you, I choose you. If you love yourself, I love you. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, nobody's going to choose you if you don't. So just know that if you did, and you chose yourself, and you stopped putting garbage in your mouth, and you loved this vessel, you treated this like it was your temple, then I'm going to give you the world. You guys got this world. It's yours. And I'm happy to give it. I'm happy to give you anything that you need to make sure that you're going to be okay. And I want to thank you for doing that for me.